That's why I asked if you were recording, because you guys are just...
I know, well, because I had to check the audio, you pleb.
You pleb.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, all right. What's up, everybody? This is Alex and Chris from Replay Airsoft. We're doing another Q&A video. These are pretty simple, straightforward. We asked you guys to give us Facebook questions, and I think we have one off the YouTube channel. So we're going to answer those to the best of our abilities. This is all opinion with maybe a little bit of fact here and there. I don't know.
This is 100% truth.
Okay, yeah. So he said it here first, not me. We didn't really take any preparations with the lighting or anything like that. So
they're really going to be judging on that.
Yes, they are.
So.
We're going to get judged. All right, so we're going to start, and we're going to go from there.
All
so
right, hit it.
Daniel asks, a small CQB environment, what do you think would be the best numbers to get the best gameplay out of a game? I guess it depends on how small you're talking about it. Like our arena, I think like at most 10 on 10 is like really fun for me.
That question is totally subjective too, because I get calls on a daily basis where people call up, hey, how many people are playing down there? Oh, well, we got about 15 people that are playing. And to some people that's a lot, and some people that's not enough. So it really depends on where you're at with, do you like playing with large groups or do you like playing with small groups? I mean, there's really not an optimal number. For this particular arena, for my particular taste, I like maybe 5 to 10 people on a side, something like that. I think our maximum number to efficiently use the space is 15 players per side. Although I have to say we're going to be opening up the arena very soon and adding some more floor space. So we might add to that number in the very near future. But there are some guys that really like playing with like 3-man teams or 4-man teams, and for that, you know, that's the optimal number for them. So it really depends on what your taste is and, you know, what your team's like.
Right, yeah, I mean, I'll agree with that. I'm with you. I think 5 to 10 players is optimal. You can do more. I mean, we've had nights where before we break it off into 4 teams, just to get one extra game in, we'll have like 20 versus 20. It's doable, but I don't know. Me personally, 5 to 10 people is
We also
better.
give people a choice. When we have nights where we're a little bit overpopulated here, we will break off into 4 teams rather than 2. And we'll put 2 teams on the field and 2 teams will be staging, and we'll just keep flip-flopping them like that. That way we can get less people on the field at a time. But we've had it where people have complained because they wanted to have like 20 people out on the field. Yep. So
20 versus 20.
Yeah, I mean, they wanted to have this mass, you know, execution going on out there. So, you know, if that's what you like, then that's cool
I mean, if everyone agrees with that, whatever. You guys paid, so, you know.
We're here to please.
Yep. All right, so Jeddo, Jeddo, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, asks, hi, I'm a little new to Airsoft and I don't have a very big budget, but how do you approve the use Airsoft guns like Black Ops, Crossman, or Game Face? Okay, so basically the question is, given his budget, he can only afford like the Black Ops, the Crossmans, and the Game Face, like the really starter guns. He can't really afford anything more than that. What do we think about him?
I don't judge. I think it's kind of fun to go out there with a spring gun and just sort of see how you can do. There's some guys that just play with the good old-fashioned single-shot shotguns. That's just a pump action, and it's certainly a little more sporty to go out there like that, especially if you're going up against guys with, you know, Polar Stars and you know, high-capacity magazines. But I mean, to be perfectly honest, when I play with just a regular gas blowback pistol, which, in all honesty, is not giving me a rate of fire that's that much above what you can get with some of those Crossman guns. And, you know, a hit's a hit, whether you get hit at 100 feet per second or 300 feet per second here. So
well, but that raises a good point where if someone's gun is shooting too softly, it's too slow, people probably aren't going to feel it if they're wearing plate carriers and stuff. So it's a legitimate concern. I would say, in regards to those 3 brands, if that's all you can afford, I mean, it's not. I mean, hopefully it'll work out for you. If you can save up a little bit more and get something better, I would recommend doing that. I'd rather save up and just wait and get something that I know I can go out there and use. But it depends how competitive you're playing, and it depends what you want to do. If you just want something to shoot in your backyard and have fun, you know, all that, then those are fine.
Well, if your budget is limited and you want to play, get a good one of the tri-burst shotguns. They're fairly inexpensive, under $100. You can buy a couple of shells. You shoot a burst of 3 bullets each time that you shoot it, so it's fairly easy to hit your target, and they're pretty hard hitting.
They're fine. Yeah.
You hit somebody square in the face mask with one of those, they're going to know about it. So, that would be my recommendation. If you're on a budget, you want to play, get one of those decent tri-burst shotguns, and that's a good way to start.
Yeah. All right, so Craig, who asked one last time, so awesome he's asking again, he asks, do you think it's fair to split up a group of friends who are experienced players even though they all came together and want to play with each other, not against one another, just to make the teams even? That's very circumstantial, but yeah, I mean, if we have to split up the teams, if we have a team of 6 guys that play here once a week and are really, really, really good, and have just they know the field really well, and then you have 6 people that rented guns, never played airsoft before. I mean, you're going to steamroll them the whole day. Chances are, it's kind of, to me personally, that's not even fun to play. But beside that, it does seem a little unfair.
We try to. I know that Joel, our referee, tries to sort of give people a little bit of leeway too, where you have a group that wants to play together, he'll let you do that. But if he sees that you're dominating, he's going to break the teams up to keep it. Everybody's paying the same amount of money, and everybody should have an equal opportunity to play there.
Right.
And if there's people that are, I mean, if your team is that good and you got to be together, then just dial it back a notch and don't be, blowing everybody out every frickin' round. And if it requires that you play super aggressively and win every frickin' round, then you're just making it unenjoyable for everybody else there. Now, that's not saying that it's bad that your team is that efficient or that great, but if being together with your team is that big of a deal, then I don't know what to tell you, because if we've got 15 other people here, I don't, for the sake of the 3 people that are here that are good players, I don't want to alienate 15 potential other clients. So
again, it depends on the numbers. It depends on how good the team is. I mean, if it's a day where we have enough people to where a group of 6 or so can stay together, then that's fine. And small groups of really good players can usually stick together. But when you have, we're not a field that gets 100 players a day where a team of 6 really good guys can just stick together and it really doesn't make a difference. I mean, if you only have 20 people show up, sometimes you need to just move the teams, even if it's just temporarily. I mean, but I think it's fair given the circumstances. I think it's entirely fair. All right, so a different Daniel asks, how many airsoft weapons is a person allowed to carry? Here, we don't really care. I mean, if you want to have like an LMG strapped to your back, a shotgun in each hand, like 4 pistols strapped to you, I don't really care.
Sword, Thunder Bees.
I don't really care. I mean, of course, I don't know how effective that's going to be. You got to carry all that stuff. But if you want to, I mean, go for it.
I play with 1 pistol and a whole ton of magazines. That's my kit. It's sort of inefficient, really. I mean, if you're maybe in an outdoor venue where you've got acres and acres, and you can use different guns in different situations, where you have a sniper rifle versus like a CQB gun. Here, it's pretty much all the same scenario or the same environment. So having multiple guns really doesn't help you at all. Although if you're in it for people to check out all of your gear, then that's fine too.
I just think it'd be funny to see someone out there with like everything.
I've seen guys with a shotgun and a scabbard, a sword, Thunder Bees, 2 pistols.
I just think it's funny.
That's cool. I'm cool on all of it, because they had to buy all that stuff from somewhere. So
right. I mean, other fields might have different rules, but I feel like most fields don't, because they're just kind of like they're like whatever. So
half of airsoft to me is a fashion show. It's not all about getting out there and kicking butt in every single round. And some of the guys that come down here, they just like wearing the gear, and that's cool too.
Whatever.
Yep.
So Art asks, what's a good DMR and has good FPS and has a great accurate shots? So basically DMR. Well, we did a whole series on snipers and DMRs and that kind of stuff.
Watch our Sniper Palooza video. It's about a series of 12 videos.
Yeah. The G&G M14 EBR was really accurate and really cool looking, and it had a decent FPS, but it was heavy and it was not worth $500. I don't think well. It depends on your budget and depends what you want. It's a great gun. It's really cool.
Also, the G&G SPR.
Yeah, the SPR was a good one.
We just upgraded one for a guy for outdoor use last week, and that's an excellent choice.
Yep.
If you're playing outdoors and you want longer range, then you're probably going to want to upgrade your spring. You're probably going to want to get maybe a longer barrel, maybe a tight bore barrel. So there's not one specific gun that I could say out of the box you're absolutely always going to get the best results that you're looking for. It usually requires a certain amount of customizing to do that. If you've got the money and the budget, then you might want to consider going up to a Polar Star because you can adjust your velocity and all that kind of stuff, but that gets kind of pricey for some folks. So, you know, if you can't remortgage the house and get one of those, then you might be in for a little bit of customizing if you're dealing with an AEG.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
Seems about right. He also asks how to make your shots more I create and upgrade the FPS.
First of all, what?
Well, you can read it right there. How to make your shots more I create and upgrade the FPS. If you're asking
how to upgrade the FPS, the only way to get faster velocity is to upgrade your spring. Unless, of course, you have a Polar Star, then you just turn your regulator up. With an AEG, the only reliable way, some people think if you put a bigger battery in, it's going to increase your velocity. It does not. It just gives you more bullets per second. If you want to get more velocity, more FPS, then put in a bigger spring.
Right.
There you go.
So there you go. Yeah, I'm going to assume that's what the question was.
And it's sort of there's an upward spiral when you're doing that. Now you put in a bigger spring in, you're putting more wear and tear on your gears. So you might want to put in high torque gears.
Right.
You're also putting more torque on your motor, so you're probably going to want to upgrade to a high torque motor.
You probably want a better battery.
And then you're going to probably want a bigger battery. So there's this upward spiral. As you get a bigger spring, then you want to get a bigger gears, then you want to get a bigger motor, then you want to get a bigger battery, and it just keeps going from there.
A lot goes into it.
It's not just one thing.
I think that's sufficient. All right, so Caden asks, for the games we play at the arena, can we expect any new game modes anytime soon, and do you take game mode selections? We kind of went over this in the last one, actually, which was, well, to answer the second part first, we do take, I assume you mean suggestions. We do take new suggestions. You can bring it up to Joel, bring it up to us, and we'll talk about it. We'll work it out. But with that being said, it's got to be something that is you can easily explain, everyone can play, and hopefully will be fun. If it's something that's really, really intricate or just something that not everybody wants to do, then we don't want to try and cram it into the schedule.
Well, one thing, like I said earlier in the video, we are going to be doing some upgrades to the arena where we're going to be increasing the floor space, and we're also going to be changing the obstacles and stuff that are out in the arena, which will hopefully facilitate some different games types. So if you're really interested in a particular game mode, I would actually sit down with your computer and write it all out. That way you could get your thoughts in line, and that way you could present it to our ref, and then we could possibly give it a try.
Right.
We're always looking for new game modes. The short answer is yes, we're always looking for new game modes. It's just we need people to get their thoughts in order, and
it needs to be something feasible.
Yeah.
I mean, something that people will want to play and do.
Yes.
But yeah, that pretty much answers that. And then just to answer the first part real quick, can you expect anything new? I mean, we come up with new stuff every now and then, so you never know. When you come in, there might be a new game. And the other thing is we've talked about doing events soon, just like really small, kind of, nothing major, but just like tiny events where we would like have people pre-register, and then you'd have teams and all that, and we would just kind of have different game modes that are more pertinent to that day. So, if you want to do something like that, if enough people are interested, we'll do that too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Well, I'm going to check the YouTube video because I could have sworn there was at least one question on there. Probably a lot of comments I don't want to read, but at least one that I will want to read. So, can I come play in your arena if I have a 400 FPS gun?
No.
The short answer is no. If it's 400,
yes, we'll put a reducer on it.
Well, yeah, we'll put a reducer on it, but stock, out of the box, no. Our limit is 350 with a 0.25 gram BB, which is about 1.41 joules. If that's 400 with 0.2s, it's possible, but highly unlikely. I don't think that it'll go down to
Oh,
350.
I have.
No, I know. Again, if we can put a reducer on your gun, it's like a little muzzle brake that goes on the end. But I'm saying stock, if you put 2 5s in it, that only will go down to like what, 370-ish or so.
I'd have to see the gun. It varies from gun to gun.
So yeah, in short, you can't use if it shoots 400 with 2 5s, you can't use it. We can put a reducer on it to get it.
With one exception, we do allow people to be like full-time sniper from the second floor, that you can only take long shots. You can use a 400 FPS gun, but you're very limited in what you can do. You can't go into the entire arena and play like CQB, but you can stay in the upstairs and just do sniping.
Right. Which another question was, what's your guys' FPS limit for .2 BBs? Again, it's around 380-ish. It's somewhere in there between 380 and 390. What we'll check is the joules. If it's 1.41 joules or lower, then we're fine. All right, so the questions we already answered about BB weights kind of segues into our next one.
All right.
Do you feel that hold on, I messed that up. Do you feel that field should chrono with joules instead of a set BB weight? Yeah, I'm just laughing at my own mistake. Good or bad points in your opinion? So it's basically joules or FPS.
Well, you have to go.
All right.
Weight of the projectile matters when you're considering how hard it's hitting. Joules is a measurement of the weight of the BB versus the velocity of it. Because if you have two objects traveling at the same velocity, let's say you have a ping pong ball and a baseball, and they're both traveling at the same velocity, 350 feet per second, you get hit in the face with a ping pong ball, it's just going to bounce off of you. You get hit in the face with a baseball, it's probably going to knock your ass out. So there is a difference depending on the weight of the BB, and there are different weight BBs that are available for playing airsoft, from .12 all the way up to here we've got, what, 0.43 grams that are available. I believe you can even go beyond that.
You can go higher than that, yeah.
So we have to check the joules. Now the joules is a measurement, the actual scientific definition of it is 1/2 the mass in kilograms times the speed, the velocity of the projectile in meters per second. Now in the USA, we measure things in feet per second, so you need to do a whole nother calculation from feet per second to meters per second. Luckily, we have a chronograph that does all the computations. You just need to plug in what the weight of the BB is. Now from us here at the arena, we have to make sure that people aren't lying about what weight their projectile is. So the easiest way to get around that is have everybody use a magazine that we know what the weight of the BBs are, so that's a given quantity, and then we don't have any problems with that. And we also, if there's ever any question, you know, if any point in the game that somebody suspects somebody is over the velocity limit, we will re-chrono people, because it's important that we send people home without any, you know, permanent damage to. I find it's a crazy thing, but I find it's easier to get repeat customers when you don't send them home bleeding. So we certainly do everything we can to avoid that.
To go hand in hand with that, we're playing close quarters. You get shot close, you're going to get a welt, probably going to bleed a little bit. Some people don't believe that a gun at 350 FPS cannot do that. I guarantee that it can.
It's without a doubt, almost every time we play, somebody always comes out that's underdressed, that's accusing somebody of shooting over the limit. And it's usually because they're not wearing the proper safety equipment, and it has nothing to do with the other players. But it's just one of those things that, just from our standpoint, even if it's a complete knucklehead that's doing that, we still will go back in and re-chrono just to avoid any kind of, you know, potential risk of being some sort of impropriety there, because there is a chance that some idiot is using 0.43 gram BBs at 350 feet per second and could potentially injure people. So it's something we do take seriously here.
I think, I agree. And I think it's nice that fields have like an FPS listed on like their website. So it does give you an idea, because when you buy most airsoft guns, they'll tell you the FPS, but not necessarily the joules. So it's nice to have that standard, but it's also, measuring in joules is also nice.
Right.
It's more important to the field than the
it's
than
safer.
the seller.
It's safer for you as a player. It's a bigger pain in the neck for us because we have to check the weight to the BBs and all that kind of stuff. So the long answer is Joules is the way to go.
Of course, some fields will use their own magazines where they know what they put in them. That's also another workaround to it. The only time that doesn't work is when you've got very unique guns or gas blowbacks that you might not necessarily have a mag for. So using Joules is good for fields, but I can also understand why having an FPS requirement is there and why sellers will have FPS requirements. So that pretty much answers that.
There you go.
All right. I realized I haven't really been reading all the names of the YouTube comments, but I put them at the bottom, so that's good enough.
All right.
Someone asks, can you do an overview of the G&G Combat Machine SRS in the background, which is that one right there. It's really good. Buy it from us.
It's just basically, in a nutshell, it's the basic combat machine with a MOSFET and a slightly beefier upper and lower receiver and a key mod rail.
Yep.
And
Locking
double the
stock.
warranty, too. It comes with a 13-month warranty versus the 6-month warranty.
We give it a 13-month warranty.
Yes. So it's a beefier combat machine, and we highly recommend them. And we will do an in-depth analysis of it at some point, but that's all we're going to do for now.
Yeah. So buy it. That's it in short. Okay, so I think that was all the questions that we have this time. So that worked out. If you have any more questions, just let us know in the comments below, whether that's on Facebook or however you're watching this. And I think that's pretty much it.
And we'll try to look through some of our, I mean, we've got a couple hundred other videos out there that all have tons of questions on there. So if we get a chance, we'll go back and review some of the older questions that we haven't had a chance to get to. But we always enjoy hearing from you guys. So if you have something that you're curious about, feel free to write in and we'll be glad to answer your questions. So catch you next time, guys.
Take it easy. Real quick.
What is it?
All right, so Cole asks us, what are your thoughts of having a tournament day, form teams, quick one and done battles with a bracket system, make each round last 2 minutes, so downtime is low and you don't wait forever if your team gets eliminated early. So basically the GPR tournament, except without the GPR. I think, because we've talked about doing like Airsoft tournaments before where you bring your team in, you have fun, and maybe there's prizes at the end and that kind of cool stuff. There's a bracket system and everything, you pre-register, but
how do you score something like that without the GPR system, though?
Right. The GPR system, we have videos up on it. You might want to look into that. We do that usually once a year.
At least,
so far it's been. The other thing is, and I know this is going to sound terrible, but it's true, is this is a sport based on honor, and I think most people that are going to sign up for a tournament are going to be honorable, but let's face it, it's possible somebody could get hit, not feel it.
And there's something at stake, too. You're trying to win something, whether it's just bragging rights or if we actually have prizes, so there's an incentive to cheat.
Even outside of that, though, trying to stay away from necessarily cheating, even if somebody gets hit and they just honestly didn't feel it, I mean, on one hand, that breaks the integrity of the tournament, because then that person should have been eliminated. That could have changed the whole outcome of the tournament. But it's Airsoft, so we have to live with the fact that kind of human error is present.
When there's something at stake and it's a competitive thing, and you're trying to get an honest winner and loser, then for all its shortcomings, the GPR tournament is really the only honest way to go with it.
Yeah. So maybe we'll do something like that in the future, but until then,
well, just stay tuned for the next GPR tournament.
Sign up for that.
And if you're watching this, James Wang, give us a call and set up the next tournament, because we got people that are obviously interested in doing it.
There you go.
Let's do it.